on the Towel YouTube. Welcome. My name is Grant Smith Ellis. It is good to see you. It is Friday, February blank 2026. Today is the day we shall ward off more evil spirits. The damn demons. All right, we're live over on the Towel YouTube. Let us roll the intro. Towel friend who does the intro will protect us from the evil spirits along with Jesus. We love Jesus.
Hold on. Wait a second. That's it.
That's it?
Yeah, that's the melody to Funky Town.
You're the Towel. That's it. It's a melody to Funky Town. Oh, look at that nice little view. How nice is that? You like the little view of my favorite city in the whole wide world? It's a nice little view of Boston. I'm a towel. How are you all doing? Look at me. I'm a towel. Haircut towel. I don't know, my hair got a little puffed up after I took a shower, but that's okay. How's everybody doing? It's great to see you. We got work to do. We're only going to do a few hours of work this afternoon. I have obligations. You don't understand. I am an internationally renowned towel now. Okay? I called some people, and they were like, Towel, you don't understand. Like, you don't understand. And I was like, I do understand. I do. And they were like, no, Towel. No, you don't understand. Like, you have to do, like, TV interviews. And I was like, but I'm a little towel. And they were like, no, you gotta, like, do it. And I was like, okay, I'm a towel. So anyway, we're gonna do that now. I'm not sure when I'm gonna do it. I gotta talk to some people. I have people now. All right? Your people can talk to my people. Okay? And then I'll do an interview on your station. Apparently, I helped bring down, not just helped, I was the source of the White House counsel under Obama and the top lawyer at Goldman Sachs having to resign. Yes, it spiraled a little bit, but like you watched it happen on February 5th. It took me 1 week. She resigned last night. I didn't like wake up and have like a celebratory breakfast, but I definitely woke up and I was like, wow. Like this is so ethereal, but like I can do a lot of things. And I was like, wow, a lot of people know me. And I was like, wow, I should like use this to engender the cogent public discourse that I said will ward off the usurpation of our representative forms of government. I'm getting to live my dream. You have no great idea how grateful I am to you all. I was almost crying. But I wasn't crying because I was like, I have a duty. I'm duty bound to live up to this platform that was bestowed upon me and go out to the world and hearken forth the message that hurting children is bad, hurting the vulnerable is bad, talking to sex offenders like Jeffrey Epstein is bad. Lying, or not lying, but being an undercover CIA agent in the Obama White House is bad. There's just a lot of things I got to tell people are bad, you know? So I'm going to encode it into a language that's in high demand. And then I'm going to use that to revitalize America. Because I love America. All right? I love other countries of the world, too. Canada, it's on the border right now. No pun intended. You like what I did there? Canada's like, okay, I like Canada. I'm just a little suspect, you know, like I'm not really sure what their motives are, and they cannot have Detroit. Like we have to kind of make them part of the U.S. so they won't ever take Detroit again. Okay, what other things do I want to talk about today? All right, we're going to do Epstein videos, files, research. However, I just want to tell you, I've been pretty, work hardened by having to digest a lot of this material, but I want to give you an extreme content warning. I'm never going to show it on the screen. But sometimes I go to open a file, and it's a video file that's censored, and then it's like a little doggy, like just a little cute little doggy. The doggy didn't do anything wrong. He didn't hurt anybody. He didn't know what he was doing. He was a little doggy. And the little doggy, he did bad things to a kid, and Epstein filmed it. It was very hard for me to watch that, okay? It was very traumatizing for a little towel. I don't know how many of those I can handle, even though they're censored, because, like, it's a little doggy. Like, the little doggy didn't... I like little doggies. He doesn't know what he's doing. And, the little kid is getting hurt by the doggy, and the guy, Epstein's just filming it. It's very sad. So I don't know how much of that I can do, but I committed myself to processing the files. So... I think what we're going to do is try to focus on indexing the files from the jail. And if I run into files like that, I'm going to do my best to keep it together because the survivors of victimization didn't get a choice. So I, for them, am going to power through this. But I just want to let you know, And like I realized the Kathy Ruemmler thing, like most people would be like, Grant, in 7 days you brought down the White House counsel who's the top lawyer at Goldman Sachs. How did you do that? And she's in the CIA, and she knew Epstein and got millions from the Rothschilds. Like, how did you do this? And like, aren't you like pleased? And it's like, I don't have time to think about the implications of some of these stories, and like, nor do I like want to celebrate doing anything, because like the material we're dealing with is so horrific. Like, I'm pleased only to the extent that bad people are being forced to be held accountable for their misdeeds. I don't have time to stop and think about like, oh, I did this and etc. The issue though is that like, if I don't go out there and talk about this reporting, the New York Times and other publications will just spin it like my reporting and cut out the CIA part, cut out the NSA boy stuff part, cut out the like stuff about massages, but not your kind of massages from Ruemmler to Epstein. They'll just like decimate the core of my reporting. So like, as a matter of like principle, and also as a matter of like informing the public, I have to begrudgingly go out there and like do interviews and tell people like how I found the Ruemmler information, what the January 8th, 2015 email means, what the December 2015 emails mean. The January 8th, 2015 email was Ruemmler saying that John Brennan gave her the CIA's agency medal, the highest award. She told Epstein that. Then the December emails about Epstein coming to Washington to see Ruemmler for a day of fun and CIA, NSA, and boy stuff. Then the emails about the payoff by the Rothschilds, who were under DOJ investigation while Ruemmler was White House counsel. Epstein got $25 million from Evelyn de Rothschild. Ruemmler got $10 million. Some guy named Pillsbury got $10 million. Okay, all of this is not like, I read the Gray Lady, the New York Times. It's not covered. I read CNBC. It's not covered. I read the Financial Times. It's not covered. I read the WSJ, Wall Street Journal coverage of this. It's not covered. They're protecting the American intelligence establishment gratuitously by decimating the integrity of my story. And they're not going to do that. So that I have to deal with. But it's begrudging. Like, I'm not sitting here being like, oh, I've come to international prominence, I'm a little towel, and isn't this wonderful, look at me. No, that's not what I care about. I'm frustrated that like I have, instead of just like the story being the story, I have to go out there and be part of like the public discourse in these large arenas to make sure these large publications don't eviscerate my story. It's not my story, but the story that is the truth, what the American public needs to hear about, the hearings that have to have in front of Congress. We can't just have the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal and the Financial Times and the Post, the Washington Post and the Globe and the Herald writing stories that alienate the truth and decimate the truth of these stories. It's so incredibly important. So, as a result, I have to go out there and actually do... good morning, folks. I'm just letting people wander in as we begin our work. Thank you. Lynn was kind enough to share the donation information. Yeah, so that's the other thing. We are embarking on a project here. I'm going to play you a video today from when I gave a lecture at the Internet Archive. I think I want you all to understand what I'm doing a little bit. I'd like you to understand not only like the project that I'm working on, but who I am, why I have the independence that I do, why like seemingly this one man with a computer who knows a lot about tech and was seemingly around when the internet was invented and has a lot of friends in politics and whose mother is connected to these powerful people and who seems like he was like literally tormented for spending years trying to figure out what was going on, and with the Karen Reed case and the Turtle Boy case, which ended up evolving into Jeffrey Epstein having a nonprofit called Learning for Life that touched the Police Explorers program in Stoughton, Massachusetts, tied to a guy named Robert Devine, who was a police officer and deputy chief, and a number of programs for children tied into the Police Explorers program through the Learning for Life charity that was tied into Maxwell and Epstein. Like, not only that, but Epstein visiting Stoughton, Massachusetts on the evening of July 8th into July 9th, 2014. Epstein potentially having a brothel in that area that Maxwell set up with Devine's help, with police and local the state police and local cops as like enforcers and pimps at the brothel who would gin up like fake criminal charges against the girls, quote unquote, and the children survivors of victimization, who would either like not go along with the plan or like try to reveal to the world information about those brothels. Sandra Birchmore, a young woman in Canton, Massachusetts, on February 1st, 2021, at 9:27 p.m., was murdered, according to the federal government, by a Stoughton police officer named Matthew Farwell. Sandra Birchmore was pregnant with an 8 to 10-week-old baby boy. That crime was investigated by Brian Tully's state police unit under the Norfolk County DA Michael Morrissey, who's also tied into Robert Devine. Okay, that specific murder was deemed the result of self-harm by a man by the name of John Fanning. John Fanning also was on Brian Tully's state police unit. John Fanning kind of lost his mind when Michael Proctor got interviewed by Josh Levy, then U.S. Attorney for the District of Massachusetts, on February 1st, 2024, in front of a federal grand jury for 6.5 hours about the contents of Michael Proctor's cell phone and his text messages. But that's kind of an aside. So is Brian Tully's NDA that he signed with the DOJ vis-a-vis a prosecutor in the Norfolk DA's office named Laura McLaughlin on March 6th into March 7th, 2024, wherein Tully wasn't allowed to read any of the federal documents about an ongoing investigation into the conduct of the state police, but instead Laura McLaughlin was allowed to hold the documents and read Tully portions related to Michael Proctor saying derogatory things about a defendant named Karen Reed who came to national prominence because of her defense strategy. Okay, so with all of that context in mind, I'm starting to look at the state police unit in Stoughton and how it's tied in to Sandra Birchmore's death, and why this unit cleared Matthew Farwell for Sandra Birchmore's death when it was very obvious that she was murdered. Okay, the federal government in August of 2024 indicts Matthew Farwell under 28 U.S.C. 1853 for murder of a cooperating federal witness, and then 12 months later, in the fall of 2025, indicts him again for murder of Sandra's unborn 8 to 10-week-old baby boy, and then immediately takes the death penalty off the table. It comes out during that time that Sandra Birchmore's baby was not fathered by Matthew Farwell, even though Farwell thought that ostensibly. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, just looking into the cover-up of Sandra Birchmore's death led to a very clear ring potentially connected to Jeffrey Epstein. Now, pulling back a little bit more, I did some more reporting since the release of the Epstein files showing that there was a network in Connecticut tied to a town called New Canaan or something, in particular in that area, a school called the Rumsey Hall School, which was itself linked to a foundation run by a guy named David Brock called the Edge Foundation, which had a lot of billionaires. Epstein flew into the Rumsey Hall School secret heliport, and therefore that caused this scandal in the Nutmeg State. Then I started looking into Jeffrey Epstein's financial documentation, and I found a guy named Paul Morris, or Paul M., who managed Epstein's finances, and I found a company called Gratitude America Ltd. It turns out that Gratitude America Ltd. in 2015 was a charity nonprofit that Epstein set up so that a guy named Leon Black, who's also in a lot of trouble now, he's an investment guy that ran Apollo Wealth Management and like worked with the head of like one of the sultans of Dubai, who just had to resign from Dubai World, which is the state-sponsored like company, state-run entity of Dubai, overnight. Okay. So I'm reporting on the finances, and I look into Gratitude America, and I take a look at their Form 990s, and I determine that in the year, first of all, I find a bunch of companies that Epstein was donating to through the Shadow nonprofit to keep his name like away from the donations. Then I started looking at the capital gains statements for the nonprofit. He was investing, Epstein, in stocks through the nonprofit. In 2017, I find what looks like insider trading related to the firm Tencent, which is connected to the Chinese Communist Party. 2018, I noticed that there's $30 million of stock that moves through the nonprofit, but there's no attached line item capital gains and losses, which is required in a Form 990 when you have a nonprofit on the federal level and you trade stocks. So then on 2019, I go take a look, and that's the year Epstein ostensibly died, and I find 12 stock transactions, including like $1.2 million worth of Microsoft stock, $1.3 million of a stock called Cardlytics, which involves it's like a company that buys private American banking data on Americans and sells it to advertisers so they can do predictive advertising and get a 30 to 1 per dollar return on ad spend, ROAS, when they serve us advertising. They're basically spying on our banking. Anyway, So I figured that out in the 2019, like the moving of the Microsoft stock. He moved like $3.4 million total worth of stock in 10 days after he was arrested on July 6, 2019. So I'm reporting on that, and then I take a look at 2018, and I discern there's like $30 million of money that got laundered through the nonprofit. Like someone bought $30 million worth of stock through the nonprofit, then sold it immediately at like a $69,720 loss or something. He was a cheeky fucker, Epstein. And they just sell it to the nonprofit. So I'm kind of like working on all that. And then I find the Ruemmler stuff, okay? This is interspersed within all of that. I find the Ruemmler CIA connection. I report on that, okay? So all of this is building over a week. And then over the past few days, we've started an Epstein video project where we're going through all the hidden MP4, MOVs, FLVs, AVIs, zips, etc., on the DOJ file site. There's 3,700 of them by hand, categorizing them, watching them, and building an index on a Google Doc, which I will share in the chat, that you'll be able to use to see a complete overview of all the prison footage related to Epstein when I'm done, all the different categorized videos, the videos I can't find the file type for, etc. Okay, and we're going to do that together. If you want to support this project, that's really what I'm saying. If you think this is... Oh, I talked for so long, my screensaver went on. If you're thinking this is important, like I understand why other media isn't doing this, like this guy is going to single-handedly tear through these files, and he's only doing it because he's some kind of trained journalist that doesn't answer to anyone, and he relies on our donations, and that's what's allowing this to happen. That's true. So I'm going to post a link in the chat to the Google Doc. At the top, you're going to find 4 links: a GoFundMe, a Cash App, a Venmo, a PayPal. Like, I am on the verge of having nothing. Like, the only reason I was able to put this together is because I sacrificed, like, my professional life, my family life, my connections, everything that I could have had, earthly, temporarily, or otherwise. I gave up so that no one would be able to pressure me when the chips were down and this had to be reported. As a result, I've been able to do some really good work, but it's only because of you all. So I'm very grateful you're allowing me to live my dream and to help people. But it does require support. There's just no institution that's going to back this. There's no nonprofit. I've never sold out. At every turn, I basically gave the middle finger to people who tried to pressure me, threaten me, buy me off, whatever. My own mother started tormenting me because I wouldn't toe the party line about some of this stuff. But throughout it all, I said, no, the truth is more important. The integrity of this republic is more important. And I would rather starve than sell out. That's how important this is. And as a result, yes, like every day after like the first few days of the month, it's really hard for me. Right now, I have very specific expenses that I need help covering during this project to keep me safe. I switch rental cars a lot, so that's like $60 to $70 a day. I have a car, hopefully I'll be able to use soon. One of the worst parts of this is my mother had been allowing me to use a car while I was going to school. I was very grateful. She asked me to get a job as school was ending law school was ending at the end of 2025. I did. She then took the car away. So I was working, but I had to like use a rental car. I couldn't get to work, and it drained all my resources just to work. And it turns out she was setting me up to become bankrupt. She tried to evict me, etc. In any event, if you want me to do this project, I just need a little help. So you can find the donation links. Every dollar you send, trust me, I'm trying to go through the donations, heart them, thank you for them. It goes towards daily expenses that will allow me to do this project without constantly having to think, oh no, I'm not going to be able to eat tomorrow. Oh no, I'm not going to be able to get another rental car, etc. And you may think, that's a very specific set of needs for a reporter. Yes. Like imagine you all being my only lifeline and me having very high analytical intelligence but very low common sense. So you kind of have to like be my surrogate parents for daily life management. I know it's a big burden, but then I get to do all this work and it's so productive. Someone asked if I could explain the towel thing. Sure, in February of 2024, someone came in the YouTube chat named Stoop the Kid and was like, Grant calls himself a towel. I think his pronouns are towel. And I was like, that's hilarious. I am going to become a towel. Now there are washcloths, towelettes, super towels, beach towels, paper towels, soap dispensers, hemp towels. Like, there are just towels everywhere. People in government call me, and they're like, Grant, I was in a meeting today, and I told someone I was a towel, and they didn't understand. They think it's hilarious. All right, let's do our work. I want to show you a video. All right, we're going to get into Epstein work probably by about like 2:20. And then we're going to do that for like an hour and a half. because I can't do too much. It's not prison videos anymore. Like, we're now going through actual very intense material. But I want you to understand a little bit about how I think, about what I've been doing, about the way I do my journalism. Hello, LS. Good to see you. Hello, Serene. Hello, Bella's mom. Hello, Erin. Hello, Lynn. And Pick a Handle and Jay Moore. You are a towel. That's true. But yeah, I want to show you a little bit about my process. I want to show you a little bit. Hello, little Walmart. You are a super towel. I want to show you a little about my process. I want to show you a little bit about like how I do what I do. And then I want to show you a little bit, a video. It's a 20-minute video about like from 2 or 3 years. It's actually from 4 years ago, bro. Where did the years go? So in 2022, I was out at the Internet Archive, you know what I'm saying? As one is wont to do. And I was given a lecture to a group of very smart people, including Brewster, who owns the Internet Archive. He's a smart man. I was given a lecture to the people at the Internet Archive, specifically about like what I do and why I do it. Now, you're going to learn a lot about me in this video, okay? You're going to learn about like a project that I worked on. I wouldn't call it a project. It's more like when I get bored and I see a problem with public policy, like I just kind of fix it, you know? So like I didn't like how small mom and pop companies couldn't access traditional financial services in the cannabis arena. So I went to lawmakers basically and like brute forced a dedicated levy on the excise tax to provide $30 million worth of grants ranging from $50,000 to $500,000 per company through the Executive Office of Economic Development per year. Yeah. And I talk a little bit about how someone tried to mess with my bill by changing the dedicated levy, which is like a set amount of the excise tax. So the excise tax is 12.5% of all adult use sales, cannabis sales in the state per year. Of that, 20% gets in a little bit more from fines and fees, etc., to this Cannabis Control Commission. Gets set aside. They get set aside for this fund through the EOED, the loan fund or the grant fund. All right. Someone tried to change that. Instead of a dedicated levy, which would see $30 million put into this fund every year, they tried to change it to a one-to-one corporate match program, where up to a certain amount of the tax revenue would go in if there was a corporate donation first. I'm going to explain to you how, like, when I do policy work, like, you can't win because I design the rules of the game so that the outcome is what I want. You might get a choice between, like, are we going to do 10% of the dedicated levy, 20%, whatever. They settle on 15 of the excise tax. Like, what was the dedicated levy going to be? Like, I'm going to win, okay? And then I'm going to explain to people, like, after I beat you in the game, how I did it. And so this is a lecture about something called the Overton window. The Overton window is the range of acceptable sort of discourse. It's traditionally used to be like the range of discourse about what a politician can talk about. I kind of extend the term, use it for my own purposes. I use it to refer to metaphysically any range of acceptable discourse about a topic or a person or an idea in the public sphere. I actively sort of manipulate the bounds of the Overton window benevolently in order to shape policy victories. Like, I do it intentionally, I do it with a purpose. So we're going to do some Epstein research. I know that's very important, but I'd just like to take a few minutes to give you all, first I want to give my voice a little break before we dive in. I want to give you all a little chance to just understand what I'm doing. The lecture is clear, it's about 15 minutes long. It will tell you exactly what you need to know, and if whether you're new here, whether you're like more people watch on the Twitter than watch on the YouTube. But if you want to chat, by the way, disclaimer, you should go to the YouTube. Some people have been telling me that I'm not seeing their comments on the Twitter. I know. I can't monitor 2 sites at once. And I like YouTube's like comment feed better. So like I know I'm missing a lot of comments on the X. I'm well aware. I still think if you want to comment, you should go to YouTube. All right? So I'm going to show you this video. Let me know what you think. It's about 15 minutes, and then we'll get into our Epstein files research. I think it's a really good way to just give people a like grounding in my work. It's 4 years old, but it telegraphs. You're going to hear a lot of stuff in there where you're like, wow, he is the same person. I know. Like, this is my brain. It is what it is. All right, let's listen. Thank you to Lisa and everyone involved with Aaron Swartz Day for putting this great event on, as well as to the Internet Archive for their
wonderful hospitality. I have spoken at Aaron Schwartz Day before, but I will give a quick refresher. My name is Grant Smith Ellis, and I am a grassroots drug reform policy activist and advocate. I do have a number of different hats that I wear. I also do some grassroots journalism, but I'm here in my personal capacity today, so that disclaimer off the mark. I'm also I'm studying law at the New England School of Law in Boston, Massachusetts, and I find so many of these talks interesting because I think the intersection of public discourse and law and the internet is an emerging domain of democratic legitimacy, which reflects the very best of what our modern world has to offer in a time when those very best labels are few and far between, unfortunately. So initially, I was going to talk about something which is a theme of a lot of the talks I give at Aaron Schwartz Day events, or at least I have given in the past, which is weaponizing the Overton window, which is the range of acceptable topics of discussion in the public forum about a given issue or person or debate. Weaponizing that Overton window to achieve grassroots policy victories in the context of legislative framing or regulatory policy implementation, or even sub-regulatory guidance documents, which are far more important and effective than most people realize. But we'll talk all about that a little bit more in a second. But my point is, dating back to the early 20th century, there's been a theme of sort of corporate domination of the public sphere by way of propaganda. It was pioneered, the discipline of public relations or propaganda, by the nephew, interestingly enough, of Edward Bernays. He was a gentleman, the nephew of Sigmund Freud, a gentleman by the name of Edward Bernays, exactly. And what's really fascinating, and why I find this sort of emerging domain of propaganda at that time so interesting, is something that Corey talked about earlier, which is the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution, and the implications of the, Corey didn't necessarily agree with my term appropriation, but I do want to talk a little bit more about that as well. The corporate appropriation of the language of liberty that was so crucial to the post-Civil War period for formerly enslaved Black Americans by corporate interests to, in essence, indemnify themselves from oversight by state governments. And so that sort of emergence of this corporate appropriation of the 14th Amendment, and at the same time the emergence of this corporate weaponized propaganda by Edward Bernays, really forms the basis for why a lot of public policy in the 20th century in the United States, and then unfortunately due to the colonial inclinations of this country still to this day around the world.
Can you tell I was talking to liberals?
It became such a force to centralize that corporate control. Now, what's fascinating about the cannabis industry, of course, is that in some ways, in particular as to social equity, which refers to facilitating pathways to ownership of regulated cannabis companies by individuals from communities that were disproportionately impacted by the drug war. What's somewhat fascinating about this new emerging market is that it's created an opportunity to break from the norm in the American tradition and shift away from that consolidated corporate control in some regard. Not every state by any means has done well at this. Some states are just completely controlled by corporations through something called regulatory capture, where well-funded interests manipulate the lawmaking or regulatory process to centralize control and, in essence, pull up the ladder. So they get the first shot at the new market. No one else gets to come in, and then they get a monopoly or oligopoly in law forever. Some states do that. Other states, however, like Massachusetts, have done the opposite. Now, I've talked in the past about how Massachusetts created special licenses where you can only get that license if you are someone who was from a...
Hey, What happened to my video?
Community disproportionately harmed by the drug war. But something else we did this year, which very much came about by way of grassroots advocates taking charge, framing the public discussion in a way which gave lawmakers no choice.
All right. I don't know why it's doing this. That's enough. So I end up talking about the loan fund. There's a very interesting analysis at the end. But let's just do our Epstein work. The X video feed is being annoying. I don't want to deal with it. All right, so here's what we're going to do. This is the Epstein file that I use to actually keep track of everything. I'm going to post it for you in chat. Okay, we're getting into our work now. That was enough of an intro. Hello, Limiting. Yes, I really did do that. I'm an excellent towel. You can find that Aaron Swartz lecture from the Internet Archive, like, a while back. It goes into, like, corporate personhood. It's all very interesting, but it's a bit of an aside. All right, follow along with our Epstein files work here. By the way, we're going to pause at, like, closer to 4. Got to go do something, you know, enjoy the air, whatever. And then I'll be back at, like, I don't know, after dinner. Hi, MadP0969. Yeah, we're doing a lot of research. It's way bigger than Epstein, but if you didn't hear, Towel brought down Kathy Ruemmler. She resigned from Goldman Sachs. She was Obama's White House counsel. We're basically changing the world, being little towels. So, God bless you. Check in anytime. You're welcome. You can pop in, you can pop out. You can just come in and say that you're a towel. That's cool with me. We got work to do. Okay, everybody ready to get to work? Okay, get your work, what's it called? Whatever it is you do when you're working, get that on. Get your popcorn. Whatever you need to get through this. I'm not going to judge. It's really tough material, so if you need a stuffed animal of some kind, whatever you need, you go and get. All right, towels right here with you. Now, we have a rule for this here thing. Okay, it's a very specific rule. We do not look at the files until Towel gets to look at them first. Okay, we have a very specific rule. We do this to protect everyone. We don't want anybody looking at this stuff just blind looking at it. And then there's this whole process you got to go through to determine which file it is. And there's this, like, there's a lot of stuff you got to do. All right. So we're starting at the top of this page. We haven't got to this one yet. God help us. Say a prayer for Little Towel. Say a prayer for America. And we're going to do this. Now, you may say, sir, you have a very, like, emotionally detached intonation for doing this. Yeah, okay. I can't, like, you will notice I start like this. By certain points, I just start yelling or saying, oh, my God, uncontrollably, or, like, getting mad or getting sad or, like, what? Oh, dear God. Oh, no, what's this? Oh, no, I don't want to watch the doggy one again. Oh, not the doggy one. Oh, we got to get away from that doggy one. We're going to the next one. All right, so you will notice that my detached emotional intonation does not stay forever. Like, we start this way, but then I get mad. Oh, God, it's 2 hours and 44 minutes? What is it? I got to mute it. Hold on, you're not allowed to hear. I'm not. What is this? What is this? I don't. It's just black. Okay, you can see it. What is this? It's just this. I don't really know what this is. Okay, let's play it. Let me make sure the audio is on. Okay. I don't know what this is. What? What the hell is going on here? What is this? What is going on here? Oh, no. Why is this blanked out? Is there any audio? What is this? This is the creepiest thing I've ever seen. Is that someone having a conversation? I can't really tell. Is that some kind of alien? Is that an ultrasound? I don't know what I'm looking at. Is it two people in a car? There's no volume? What is this? Somebody help me figure out what this is. Is that person handcuffed? What the fuck is this? What is going on here? They're moving all around. What are they doing? What are you doing? Why are they going so fast? What is happening? Are they on a roller coaster? What are you doing to them? Bro, what am I watching right now, and why is it 2 hours? Can someone help me figure out what I'm looking at here? It seems to be two people in, like, a pod, and it's moving around really fast and, like, shaking them. And they look very upset. And they look, like, chained. What the fuck, man? Bro, these are, like, two people in, like, a fucking, like, test pod. Dude, that legitimately was, like, people being, like, tested in, like, a science experiment. Like, what the hell, man? And there's nothing else for the full footage? Listen, there's some things that you see that you know what the fuck they are. You know what I'm saying? But, like, this, man, like, I don't even know what to make of this shit. And there's nothing else in the whole file. Does anyone know what that was? I mean, does anyone know? I'll tell you how big the file is. It's 100 megs, so it's only that video. Does anyone know what that was? Hi, Nicola. Hi, everyone. Yeah, listen, we're just doing research, but does anyone know what that was? I'm pretty sure what that was people being spun in a... There's a device that they use in the Air Force. Let me just show you, like, what I think this was. So, we can... Like, I don't want to make any conclusions before I post this, and I don't want to post it Bro, I'm really freaked out. Let me show you what I think that was. First of all, this shit is not supposed to exist in the civilian world. Second of all, why would you ever do this to someone? Air Force, gravity stress test. It's called my pleasure. Thank you all, Marcia. So this is what I think this is. I can't be sure because they don't give me a good enough angle. But I've seen, like, things like this. Let me show you. I want to show you it from, like, an actual... Yeah, I want to show you, like, a training flight. They don't have a lot of ones on, like, YouTube. Hold on. No, it's not a helicopter. From what I can tell... thank you for your question, Grateful Fool Anon, 1886. From what I can tell, it's this. Let me show you what I think it is. I can't confirm it, but I think it's this. So, it looks to be one of these machines. But without the joystick. This is, like, it spins you, like, with centrifugal force to subject you to... like 9 G's of gravity. Like, he's pulling 7 G's right there at the height. Bro, most of you would die. I'm not kidding you. Let me just show you. If most of you just, like, from nothing, if we just took you and put you under 7 G's of centrifugal force, you would die. Because your neck isn't strong enough to withstand that amount of force. You would stop breathing. You would actually die. He's using breath control to force his neck to, like, first of all, look at his fucking neck. Second of all, look how strong it is. He's using breath control to force his airway open, and he's pulling 7.5 fucking G's. That's what I think this is. I'm not positive, but does anyone kind of get the vibe? It might be a form of torture. I do agree, which is why I'm a little worried. But like, I have to be right about my reporting. It's in the public interest. Like, it's censored, but I believe, we're going to watch it one more time. Does anyone agree with my analysis that this appears to be a video of someone subjected to a very rapid centrifugal acceleration? So it looks like two people. They look bound, okay? It looks like one of them's hands are bound. They're in a pod. Now, watch the video. It's almost like human test subjects. They're small. They're kids, it looks like. It's censored, though. So you can't see anything except for what looks like a seat. Both of them are in there. They're stationary right now. And I want you to watch the rapid deceleration. Or rapid acceleration. Like, it's so forceful that the camera can't sort of maintain an active picture while whatever the fuck is going on is happening. Then it stabilizes, okay, when they're actually like moving. Now look how rapidly they are moving. It doesn't look like they're moving forward through anything. It looks like they're kind of like moving very rapidly in a confined space, like centrifugally, like almost so fast that the camera can't register the, like, you see how you're seeing the same white light at the top every time? What that is likely an artifact of the rotation of this pod being so fucking fast that the camera's frame per second is seeing that, like, it's just not able to keep up with the rotation, so it's stabilizing when they're moving so fast that, like, that camera can't keep up with it. So I think that's what it is. And then there's like a weird kind of like metal illuminated thing in the back, and then they stop. All right, that's the best I can tell is it's an like two people in a pod being rapidly accelerated, and then there's like a point where they reach max acceleration. The camera can't keep up, and then they slow down. That's like the best I can tell. Does anyone have, hello C-Star, does anyone have any other input, if you're watching on the YouTube, does anyone have any input on that file before I write it up as like a very strange looking device? Oh, you're right. You're right. This could be a way to induce oxidation of adrenaline. So if you've never heard of this, there's this thing called adrenochrome, which has like a bonded chemical structure that looks like a rabbit. Like if you look at adrenochrome's chemical composition, like by its like when you draw it out, it looks like a rabbit, white rabbit. So they like follow the white rabbit. It's like this like the problem is you can't synthesize it in a lab. They tried in the 60s, it doesn't work. The only way to do this like drug, quote unquote, is to, like, blood is very sensitive, and oxidized adrenaline is even more sensitive, and it's not really stable. So, like, oxidized adrenaline in the blood is a chemical that you can do as a human. It's called adrenochrome. This may be, although I cannot confirm it, it is plausible that what we just saw was two children being subjected to, like, extreme degrees of like centrifugal force to induce like panic. It would be like simulated drowning, like above air, like if you were subjected to that. Like the human windpipe cannot sustain in high gravitational environments, and it looked like they were just being subjected to like G's of force. Hurricane footage from the island. I don't know about that, because it's not what you think. Like, we could watch it again. It's not like a stationary it is a camera focused on two people in a pod. Like, I'm telling you, and it's not Epstein and Maxwell. They are it's not like a storm around them. Look, they are stationary. The pod's kind of like moving left to right. Do you see the movement? Those are two people. One of them, dude, one of their hands is fucking bound in chains. I can see her like this. Then the other one has like a robe, kinda, okay? And they're like sitting there like this, okay? The girl is sitting, I think it's a girl, is sitting there like this. She has her arms like this. I'm looking at them. The dude it might be Epstein and Maxwell in a pod of some kind. It's unclear. Like, they fall really fucking rapidly. like wherever they're going, I wonder if it's like an escape pod. Because it looks like it's Epstein in like a robe on the left, actually, now that I really look at it. And then it looks like it's Maxwell on the right. And they're both just kind of actually like riding a machine. Kind of like a roller coaster, but it's unclear where they're going. All right, now he's moving his hand. So they're actually not under a lot of force. Bro, they are like traveling in something. Where are they? What are they doing down there? Okay. All right. Wait a minute. Okay. All right. We have to have a talk. No, listen. We have to have a talk about a few things. One, this is 2 hours of footage, but only like shows their descent or initial kind of like what I think they're doing. Okay, they're in a pod. All right, it's two people in a pod. It looks like it's Ghislaine Maxwell on the right, but you can't see her face. And on the left, it's a man in a robe. He has like a robe on. It crosses here. Like, oh, those are actually, he doesn't have a robe on. Those are seatbelts. So they have seatbelts like X'd across them. She's holding her seatbelt. She's not cuffed. She's just holding her seatbelt. And then he is not. His hands are down here. He's kind of calm. She's nervous as fuck. And they're in like a pod, okay? And they're about to launch. Like they actually launch. That's an incredible like rate of acceleration. It's so fast the camera can't like can't keep up. Their bodies are getting like violently thrown around. And listen, there's this paradox in science. All right? I'll tell you about it in a second. Because like they're both in that pod. I can see them in the pod. I can see the man's body on the left of my screen, the woman's body on the right. I have a very high quality monitor and it doesn't pixelate that bad. Okay, the man is just calm. They're being like violently like thrown around, and then they don't return to where they start. Okay, when they get to wherever the fuck they are, it stabilizes to this like weird background. Okay, with like you see that like white light in the background and shit. They're just somewhere. Okay, and I want you to watch what happens. She lifts her arms up. Then she finally lets go. She's like fucking exhausted. Now listen to me. Listen to me. I want you all to understand something. I don't know what I'm looking at. Okay? I need to like talk to a few people who might have a better idea. Yes. Okay, C-Star. C-Star, get out of my brain. I mean, you can live in my brain, bro, but how did you know I was going there? What I think we might be... Oh, my God. It's not time... It's not time travel in the traditional sense of the term. Okay? There's no such thing as going backwards in time. That's not possible. There is a paradox in Einstein's special theory of relativity. Okay, it's very complicated. I'll be very gentle because, first of all, I don't know what I just saw. But I have an idea. There is a paradox in Einstein's theory, general theory of relativity. Okay? The paradox has to do with what happens when an object accelerates at 9.8 meters per second consistently. Like you have to consistently accelerate at 1g, like perpetually. Now, we have objects, technically, that accelerate at 1g, like those are rockets. We have like multiple g's that we can accelerate to. I'm not talking about that. Like the speed an object reaches, like Mach 1 or like whatever, that's different. I'm talking about the rate of acceleration. There is a paradox with Einstein's theory of general relativity, where if you accelerate at the rate of 9.8 meters per second, which is 1 g per second, in perpetuity, like over an extended period of time, which isn't actually like that long of amount of time. Well, that I'm worried that's what we're actually seeing. If you accelerate at, first of all, you'll reach terminal velocity. Like, it's not really terminal velocity. It's more like if you go that speed for long enough and quick enough, you will, and I don't want anyone to take my word for this, just look it up. If you go that fast in a circle in particular, but really you can go any direction, then time, like where you are in the machine, say you're in a spaceship, will move slower than time outside where you are. And what it has to do with is, like, if you move that fast, then like the light around you, this is the paradox within the special theory of relativity, has to contract. And so the way that this would manifest is kind of like the movie Contact, okay, but on a much bigger scale. If you could figure out how to effectively accelerate at that speed in a like contained orbit, then when you returned, like say you left Earth, let's use a very basic example. Say you left Earth on January 1st, 2026. Or let's say, yeah, January 1st, 2026. Now let's say, very basic math here. Let's say you accelerated at 9.8 meters per second for a year. Like just straight away from the Earth, okay? And then like you managed to stay at that speed. We're not going to deal with like slowing down and turning around. You managed to stay at that speed and then immediately return. Okay, and you actually don't just stay at that speed. You keep accelerating on your way back and then figure out how to land. Okay, if you could do that, I'm speaking very generally about the numbers. The way that space-time works is that you would have experienced like 2 years on the ship. Okay, like you would have gone out there and come back, and it would have taken your body 2 years. Everyone on Earth would have experienced like 5 years. And you might be saying, like, Grant, I am not going to be able to look this up, and it's not going to be true. Yeah, it is. It's legitimately true. And I think what we just saw was two bodies being accelerated to the point where, and I don't know why there's 2 hours, like, it's honestly fucking creepy that there's 2 hours of footage, but it's black after they stop accelerating. Like, I'm honestly worried what this is. It might be footage that, like, it could have a mundane explanation, but bro, it doesn't look like a roller coaster. Like, it looks like two people in a pod being accelerated rapidly to an almost like impossible rate. Now, if you want to understand exactly what I'm talking about, let me just get the paradox and then let me write this up, because I really have to understand. I'm not going to put any of the stuff about the paradox about time in there, but I just want to understand it. Einstein's special relativity paradox, acceleration, speed of light. So we're going to watch a video on this for educational purposes, and then we'll go this way. Time experienced differently. It's a very specific paradox. Paradox about time changing when traveling speed of light. All right, we have to get the actual paradox. Hold on. I think it's called the twin paradox. Yeah, it's the twin paradox. Special relativity twin paradox explained. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that's the best way, that it's called the twin paradox, because it involves like relativistic speed. So let's take a look at minute physics. All right, the twins paradox. This is for educational purposes. Thank you to people who do educational material. So let's take a look, and then I'm going to try to write this up. This is a general explanation, so I don't think it's going to be like perfect, but here we go.
In our universe, when you change from a non-moving perspective to a moving one, or vice versa, that change of perspective is represented by what's called a Lorentz transformation, which is a kind of squeeze-stretch rotation of spacetime that I've mechanically implemented with this spacetime globe. The spacetime globe illustrates many of the features of special relativity, like length contraction and time dilation, and the twins paradox, which is a linguistically confusing situation that can arise in special relativity when somebody learns about time dilation. The fact that in our universe, things moving relative to each other each view the other's time as passing more slowly. As the paradox goes, if each person views time as passing more slowly for the other, then who ages more? If my twin travels away from Earth for a while and then comes back, who's actually younger when we meet again? In general, when you have a confusing situation in relativity, it's really helpful to actually draw or use a spacetime diagram to understand what's going on. We'll use the spacetime globe. The situation is this. You're sitting on Earth for, let's say, 12 seconds. Your twin travels out at a third the speed of light for what you measure to be 6 seconds, and then they turn around and come back at a third the speed of light for what you again measure to be 6 seconds. So what does your twin think? Well, to understand the situation from their moving perspective, we need to transform the spacetime diagram so that they no longer appear to be moving. That is, so that their world line is vertical, which is what it means for the spacetime diagram to represent their perspective. Having done so for the outward leg of the journey, it's clear that your twin would say that leg of their journey took them about 5 2/3 seconds. And then they turned around and headed back to Earth, which corresponds to a different moving perspective. Let's transform things to see how they look from that perspective. That is, so that the world line of that leg of the journey is vertical. Having done so, it's clear that your twin would say that the return leg of their journey took them, again, it looks like about 5 2/3 seconds. So from the perspective of your twin, their whole journey takes 5.66 plus 5.66 equals 11.3 seconds, while for you it took 12 seconds. So you, who stayed put, are older. The key to why the two of you do in fact age differently is that your traveling twin has two separate perspectives during their journey, and they accelerate between them, while you, staying put, only have one. And that's the resolution to the linguistically confusing twins situation, demonstrated with a hands-on space-time diagram. I want to say that even though I know and understand the math and physics behind this, my belief in the trueness of the solution to the twins paradox went up 1,000,000 times the first time I actually measured the proper time of each twin in real life, like with my hands on the space-time globe. So I hope I've managed to capture even a small percentage of that gut-level feeling in this video. You also don't have to use Lorentz transformations to figure out the solution to the twins paradox if you know about proper time, because proper time is a way of calculating the time that passes for somebody according to their perspective. So in the case of your twin, on each leg of their journey, they take 6 seconds to travel the distance light would travel in 2 seconds, or 2 light seconds. And taking the square root of the difference of these numbers squared gives a proper time of 5.66 seconds for each leg of their journey, which is exactly what we measured on the spacetime globe. If you're interested in a little more insight into how each person can view time as passing more slowly for the other and how that makes sense, and I promise it does, I have another pair of videos diving into more detail on the twins paradox that I highly recommend you check out. And to deepen your personal understanding...
Okay, everybody understand? Does everybody get it? Oh my word. So how smart is that gentleman? What he told us is there's something called proper time. Okay? Think of it as proper time. Now, I'm not a physicist, I'm a town. But what that man very helpfully just told us is that if you do what we talked about, you could technically age slower than people on Earth. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Physicist Howell. How did I just intuitively understand that? I'm telling you. Dude, this is incredible. I'm some kind of polymath. I don't know how it happens. I should not have understood the twins paradox intuitively. Yeah, I've studied it a little bit, but I'm not a scientist. I'm not even a mathematician. I'm a Tao. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trained in that. I just knew it. I was just like, yeah, bro. I'm pretty sure they're trying to travel at a speed so fast that they age differently than the people around them. I don't think people should just be able to know that. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Tao. The physicists out there are going to be like, oh no, he's mastered our discipline and he doesn't even like math. And it's not that I don't like math. I find there's too much latency in math. Bro, If I want latency, motherfucker, I'll play chess. I don't need latency in my computations. Bro, if I want to think, I want to be thinking like 7 moves ahead. Why am I doing fucking math? Like, you do the math, and you tell me what the math means. I don't want to do the math. I'll understand the results of the math. I'm not trying to do math. I hate doing math. Imagine me sitting there being like, all right, I'm going to draw this like square root thing, and like, what's the square root of this number, and how do you make it do that side? Motherfucker, how does that help public policy? Like, I'm glad you all are figuring out the secrets of the universe. Don't fuck around with time and shit. Try not to create any black holes. I don't need to know how to do that shit. Just tell me what it means. That's how I think about it. The scientists are like, but we're so important. We're scientists. Yeah, bro. Like, you're molecules, okay? You're molecules who understand other molecules. I'm happy for you. All right? Some molecules don't understand themselves. You're not better than them. You're just a scientist. I'm just a devil. Anyway, so I kind of understood the paradox regarding travel at the speed of light. Well, he didn't even use the speed of light, but it's just like the paradox gets more like apparent when you approach acceleration, or when you approach the speed of light. Bro, you accelerate at 1G for too long, you could literally age at like half the speed of people on Earth. It's actually, I'm here to towel, says 22 Explorers. You could actually like invent an it's not, we've talked about this before on the stream. It's not an anti-aging serum. You literally have to put your body through like travel at a rate of speed that is like, you wouldn't feel it. Like, think you were on a scooter going 1G. Like, you would kind of go what they went through. Like, you would just kind of get fucked up a little bit. Like, you would just, like, if it wasn't, like, very stable, like, travel in, like, human machinery at those speeds is uncomfortable, like we saw in some of the other stuff. But, like, you would, once you're at the speed, like, probably be relatively comfortable. Like, once you get through the initial acceleration. Dude, you would literally be able to, like, stay. They don't need adrenochrome. You just need to travel really fast in a contained environment relative to the objects around you, and then you can age slower than people. We've talked about this before on the stream. It's a very fascinating paradox in physics, especially in regards to Einstein's special theory of relativity, which is E equals mc squared. It's called the twins paradox, but it really has to do with just like, I wouldn't even call it terminal velocity. Like, the notion of terminal velocity is how fast an object can fall because of gravity. We're talking about, like, terminal velocity relative to space-time. And so, like, there is a limit, bro. Like, you can only, light can only travel so fast. Like, when you approach, like, the speed of light, it's kind of like an asymptote. Like, you approach but never touch the speed of light. If you were technically traveling so fast that you were like about to touch the speed of light, and you could manage to control it and then like slow down and come back to where you started, you would have invented a machine that would give you perpetual anti-aging, but only relative to like where you started. Like, you would age, your organs and things in your body would age, but it would age slower relative to all the people around you where you left. It's literally like an anti-aging device that's built into the fabric of space-time. And you might be saying, this is not fucking possible. Yes, it is. Like, your rate of travel dictates the way, like, you age. So if you are traveling really, 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 really fast, I mean, so fast that it's almost incomprehensible, then your physical body will age slower than someone who is just standing on the earth. That's just the way physics works. I don't really know why. I'm sure there's an explanation. Probably has to do with particles and shit. I'm not a fucking particle physicist. I'm a fucking towel. But that's how it works. Now, you might be saying, Grant, why are we learning about this? I'm fascinated, bro. But I don't think that has anything to do with this. Oh, it does. Like, there is no explanation for this footage. It's Epstein and Maxwell, the best I can discern. You got a woman on the right. You're going to see her kind of pop up. You got a woman on the right. And this is not like a fucking roller coaster, by the way. Like, we would see the outside, whatever. You got a woman on the right. You got a man on the left. They're suspended. They're bouncing. There's like a hydraulic. Now watch this rate of acceleration. Like, it's not like going in a fucking, like, carnival ride, bro, at, like, a fair. There's no one around them. Are you ready for this? Well, it might be that. Hold on, though. Watch because they return. Watch where they launch from, okay? They're just gone. I guess it could be at a fair. But, like, they're rotating, like, really fast. Okay? And I want you to watch where they return to. Like, it's almost, like, too fast. Like, it's completely disorientating. And then they stop. Ready? They're going to stop soon. In a completely different area than they started. Look at the background when they settle, right? And notice the violence of this, like, movement of this device. The man on the left is fine. The girl's holding her straps on the right. Oh, wait a minute. She leans forward. Bro, what the fuck? I just saw a face. Oh, my God. Dude, that did not look like a normal face. That looked like a fucking, like, alien. What the fuck, man? Dude, there's no such thing as aliens. What the fuck was that? All right. Oh, my God. I'm trying to wonder if they're like, all right, I saw a face, so I'm going to pause this, okay? Because it gets so violent at one point, like, and you can't do it slowly. You have to, like, it's big chunks of video. I'm going to pause it because the person on the right, she's not handcuffed. She's wearing a harness, okay? Dude on the left, also wearing a harness. They're X-strapped harnesses like this. It does not look like a carnival ride, okay? I just want to set the tone for everyone. It does not look like a carnival ride. It looks much more like, I don't know, like metal, kind of like, I don't know, like, it's weird. Like, there's like a metal bar between them, but no, like, lap bar. And they're harnessed, okay? But they're not, like, they're in a pod. It's not like a, like, seat on a ride. They're, like, in some kind of machine, moving incredibly fast. Now, hold on. All right, there's her face. You see how it's kind of, like, hanging down? Like, she hung her face down, and it looked like it looks like a fucking demon. Look right there. That's a person's face on the right, under the box right there. Like, they look so weird. Like, her head's bouncing around. He keeps his head in the box. Her head is bouncing around violently. Look, right there, too. She, like, has, like, some kind of fucking, like, mask on. Like, some kind of, like, full suit. It's like, she's, like, something on her head. Like, a breathing apparatus. Look at that shit! Oh! Oh, that's really fucking creepy. Do you see that? That is a person's fucking face. I'm sorry for cussing. Dude, that is a face! Oh my God! That's a person's face! Oh wow, we can zoom in on this too. I have the technology. Wow. Oh, I'm so freaked out. That is unlike any human face I've ever seen. What is that? What is that? Dude. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I think I'm having a trauma response. You don't understand. Involuntarily rocking back and forth is a trauma response. My brain is telling me what that is, but it's also telling me it's not possible that that is someone with their skin face got on their face. That's not possible. That's not possible. Oh my God. Why couldn't it have just been time travel? Oh. If this... Listen, I need to... If other experts who know more than me about video analysis confirm that this is this, I am going to be so mad. Mad isn't the word for it. Mad is not the fucking word for it, bro. If that's actually that, I'm gonna... I don't know... I don't know if I can, you know. I think we would, you know, have to take a few minutes. It can't be. I'm going to upscale it to 4K. Like, this can't be happening. Like, I understand that, I mean, it's like, oh my God. It can't be. They were using chemicals and stuff too. It cannot be that they used it on her face. Oh my God, they tortured her. Oh my God. It's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But why? What is going on? What happened to her face? There's no confirmation of anything, but like, my gut just tells me that's really bad. Yeah, I'd like some independent experts to confirm this, but if this is what I think it is, like, you know, we are in a lot of trouble as a society. That person, that poor girl, dude, no. I cannot believe this happened. Like, this one, If this is actually this is on the verge of making me physically ill. I may actually have to stop after this. You don't understand. This can't be happening. Like, I've done everything we've done so far. I've been able to handle it. I may actually have to, like, take a break and, like, go breathe. I mean, I'm fine, like, mentally, but, like, this, like, is a lot. That can't, I mean, it is what it looks like. But, like, we can't have just... Diamonds are the ashes of children? Oh, dear God. That's horrifying. Do we have proof of that? I don't want to be involved with anyone who has diamonds. I've never had a diamond in my whole life. And I don't want one. I'm so mad. I'm so mad. I'm so mad. This is just not okay. I'm just gonna use my calming, soothing voice. So we all just breathe. Like, I'm gonna upscale it to 4K. Gonna put it on the internet, and until a forensic video analyst tells me that this is this, okay, I'm not going to allow my body to believe that what I am looking at is the picture of someone whose skin has been removed chemically. Okay, I'm not going to believe that until... I'm not going to let... What should we be doing? I'm not really sure. Yeah, I think we should be mad. Like, I mean, but I've been, the doggy video was a lot for Little Towel. It's not what I wanted the project to be. We got one video in today, and my brain, my body, my towel brain, my towel brain wasn't built for stuff like this. I'm a towel. I'm so sad. The poor little babies. The little baby. And the doggy. And I'm holding it together for you all. Like, part of my duty is I have to be able to help you all understand how this happened, who was involved, why they did what they did. And, a lot of that's going to be uncomfortable. And I'm sorry it has to be so uncomfortable. So I want to, be very attentive to the emotional weight of this. So I'm going to talk in soothing tones. It's going to seem weird, but I don't think it's helpful if I yell or scream. Oh! 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 Oh my God! No, I want out. No. No. Oh my God, I want out right the fuck now. I want out. No, I want out. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Holy fuck, dude. Dude, I want out. I want out. I want out. I want out. No, no, no. I'll do this, but I need some time off. Are you fucking kidding me? Holy shit. Oh my God, he had an alien. Oh my God. Wait till you see this. I cannot believe my eyes. You You all are not going to believe this. I'm not kidding you. Listen, prepare yourself for what I'm about to show you. Literally, prepare yourself, please. I'm not this kind of researcher, bro. I'm a fucking journalist. What are we doing to Little Town? Alright? I want you to all just calm down. Dude. One second. Dude. Oh my God. Dude, that's not a human, man. It's not a human. It's not a human. Oh no. That ain't no fucking human. It's not a human, man. There's no way that's a fucking human. Does that look like a human to you? I don't know what the fuck that is, but it's not human. It's the most disturbing thing I've ever seen. It's not no fucking human. Look at its eyes. Dude, look at its head. Dude, its eyes have like light in them. You see the hands, and then that's the head. That's really fucked up. Like, really, really incredibly fucked up. Excuse me, you blacked out aliens? Some kind of alien? Yeah, it's not really like hands, right? It's like something grabbing onto it. That ain't no human, bro. I'm so upset. Dude, what? I mean, come on. Like, really? Like, time travel would have been so much better. Why this? Like, this is so bad. Oh, no. Oh, so bad. I don't know what to do, folks. I don't know what to do anymore. Like, that is not a human. I'm telling you. Like, I am an academic and a journalist. I'm telling you straight up, that ain't no fucking human. Alright? So, like, you deal with the evidence. This is just going to be another story I report, but I'm telling you right now, that ain't no fucking human. I am a man of God, and I'm telling you right now, that ain't no fucking human. No way, no how is that a fucking human. I mean, that's a lot of things. It ain't no fucking human. Oh, you can get a much clearer view when you watch it. Like, you know, they're definitely in a facility. Like, it is alive, and it kind of like moves its hands at the end. Yeah, but they definitely don't look like hands. Oh, oh, those are not fucking hands. I need an adult. I need an adult. Oh my god, no wonder I got visited by a demon. Oh, I need an adult. I need an adult. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I need an adult. I shall get an adult very soon. Listen. 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 what I'm about to do is going to cause a lot of shit. Real, 1x real speed. Okay, let me tell you right now. This is some shit. Everybody ready your time. This ain't no regular story. Like, that ain't a human. It ain't no doll. It's not a demon. It's an alien. Damn aliens. Can't be fucking around with the aliens. How do aliens get involved in all this? Damn aliens. Of course it's the fucking aliens. Damn aliens. They should have me meet the aliens. I've been like, hello, Mr. Alien. I'm Italian. I wonder what the aliens would think. They'd probably be like, he's a very entertaining towel. Do they speak English? Or are they just aliens? Alright, I'm going to rip this thing in 4K. Then I'm going to do a video about it. I'm 67 and I need an adult. Yeah, I'm not sure about, like, I guess they could be reptiles, but, like, now I've seen it on camera, so I'm like, okay. Aliens. It's either an alien or some kind of human hybrid, but it's not human. And I'm a God-fearing man. So, you know, I'm going to need some answers about the bug thing, the bug creature, or the alien. I don't know what the fuck it is. I know I wasn't supposed to see it because they tried to blank it out, but bro, we found the alien. So, I'm sorry, Mr. Alien. You're going to have, like, we're going to have a talk as a society. Aliens may well be demons. So, listen. If, indeed, I was reached by demons because I uncovered the aliens, we got a problem. I'm just a one man. I didn't mean to find the aliens. I was just trying to, like, protect the vulnerable. So, anyway, probably going to need your help. I get, like, if I'm up against, like, the demons and the aliens and the political establishment and the CIA, who apparently are demons and aliens, like, literally, I don't know what to say anymore. You all have created an absurd situation, and apparently I'm meant to lead us all out of it. I'm not really sure how I'm going to do that. I guess with your help, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to lead my people to the promised land. I'm not really sure what the promised land is, though. Like, what is the promised land? Where are we going? I think we're going to places unknown as a society. And we shall allow Little Towel to lead us there. Yes, Little Towel will lead us to the promised land by fighting the aliens and the demons. They're going to write a book about this. I'm telling you, people are like, they're going to be 200 years from now. People are going to be like, there was not a man who thought he was a towel that just, like, did things, and then people were like, wow. Like, that is not going to be a thing. If that's a thing, I'm a little bit baffled. Why me? Like, of all people, I'm just some guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm a human. I'm telling you, I'm a human. As far as I know, I'm a human. I go, like, put my pants on, go to the coffee store. There's nothing unusual about me other than my, like, photographic memory and my ability to, like, weave complex narratives and kind of, like, shape the world to my, like, will. There's nothing abnormal about me. I'm just a regular guy. So I don't really understand what's going on. You know? Yeah, I upscaled the video to 4K. We're going to watch it in a second. But yeah, anyway, I don't really understand why me. You know, I'm just a town. I am going to play it again. It's downloading. I rendered it for you in 4K. You got to give me a second. It's still downloading. 4K file. Like, I upscaled it. I had to increase its native resolution. You know what I'm saying? I had to do some towel magic. Okay, not really magic. I believe in Jesus. All right, now listen. Everybody get a towel, buddy. The screen's going to go dark while I go prepare the video for you. Ready? Everybody prepare. Nobody panic. Listen, Nicola, you hold LS's hand. Okay? Get a towel, buddy. Everyone relax. Don't worry. I know you're in the void. Listen, find a towel, buddy. Nicola, you hold LS's hand. Aaron, you hold Petty LaBelle's hand. And Standing Stones, you can hold my hand. I'm your towel buddy. Everyone find a towel buddy. You are not stuck in the void, I promise. Everything is okay. Everything is okay. It's 2 hours, yes, but we only have footage in the first, like, minute. Okay, this is the video, okay? This is the video at 1x speed. I upscaled it to 4K, because I'm a town. Nicola's putting the kettle on so that her towel buddy will feel safe. Good job, Nicola. Now, this is the 4K upscale, okay? Oh, definitely turn the light on, Tripoli Bob. You're going to want a light for this. Give it a second. They aren't actually moving yet. Oh, I see. Hold on. Hold on. I have another plan. We have to do this differently because the file's very high quality. Hold on. Everybody pause. Everybody pause. You are a tab. Alright, so let's bring this over here. I have to do this just a little bit differently because the file I made is so high quality that it upset the streaming software. Which, I mean, that's pretty normal. So, you know what I'm saying. Alright, which one do I want? I think I want 1x real speed. I want this one. This one? Nope. I gotta pick the other one. This one. Alright, here's the best I can do for you. Alright? Because if I do it any differently, it's just going to get mad at Little Tao. Alright, here we go. Here we go. Alright, here we go. Let's do it. This is the video. Alright, here we go. It's 4K. I restarted the video. So this is the full video. That's definitely some kind of an alien. Watch its hands. It doesn't have fucking hands. It has like claws, bruh. Like little like fucking like long claws. It's gripping its harness right now, but it has fucking claws. My name's Grant Smith Ellis. I'm narrating this for you. You're not in the void. I'm here. Epstein's on the left, I think. But the thing on the right is not a human. Watch when the film starts playing. They're kind of stationary in an object right now. Now they launch. It might not actually be Epstein on the left. I can't see the face. But the thing on the right's definitely not human. The thing on the left I'm starting to think now might not be human either. I don't think it's actually Epstein. Because he's in a robe, but like, or whatever, but it doesn't look like Epstein would be doing this to himself. It seems to be, it's another one of these like test subjects, and they look like aliens. Now the thing on the right, like you're going to see its head bouncing around, and it like has like eyes that are like bug eyes. I have the picture to show you. It's very hard to see because the faces are censored, and only the thing on the right's head dangles down like this. On the left, I mean. The right of the screen, but on the left. The one on the the one on the right like moves its arm around and shit, but it never hangs its head. And the one on the right, like now it starts moving its hands around. Look at these fucking hands, bro. They're not like hands. They're like claws. Like you can see them like right here. Watch them come down. See? That's not a fucking hand. Like what the fuck was that? Let me run it back. What is this? Like watch when its hands come down. Its hands. What is this appendage? I'm going to slow it down. Ready? Okay, it's going to come down slow. Ready? Watch this. What is that? What is this that's coming down right now? Is that a hand? That doesn't look like... Bro, that is no fucking hand! It's got like fucking claws! Look how long its fucking hands are! And then they're just down. And then it moves again and the footage ends. Now, I got it at 2x speed. I got it at 0.5 speed for you as well. So let's get to the end and see, like, if we can see any... Like, see its head bouncing around? Like, look at its head bouncing around, bro. It's got a really fucking weird head. This is at 0.5 speed. And it's upscaled to 4K. Oh, I gotta put the source file ID in there, actually. But yeah, watch this part with its hands. I want to see the part with the hands when it's like settled at the end. Alright, so it's about to move its hands. Ready? Watch that shit drop down, bro. That's so freaky. Watch it drop down. Oh! Oh! It's like watching the movie The Sixth Sense. Or Signs. Look at that shit. Oh! Those aren't fucking hands, motherfucker. Those are not hands. Alright, I got a little drafting work to do, but let me put up the screenshot of its fucking eyes. Like, look at this shit. Look at its fucking eyes. Like, look at... I'll just let you watch the video while I'm working. Like, look at its fucking head bobble around. I'm not saying it's not children or, like, it's not, like... It's just not earthly, okay? Like, watch its head bobbling around. This is not no human. I've seen a lot of humans. This is not no human. I don't know what it is, but it is not a human. Alright. I gotta download it again, and we only have like 20 more minutes to write this up, but, bro, that ain't no human. I've seen a lot of humans in my day. That ain't no human. Okay? I'm telling you straight up, that ain't no human. I don't know what it is, but it ain't no human. And you can, like, watch it bounce around. You can do whatever you want, and you know what I'm saying? But it ain't no human. It just is not a human, okay? It just isn't. It is not no human. I gotta talk to Congress about this, you know what I'm saying? It just ain't no human. It's a lot of things, bro, but it ain't no human. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you what. It's like a bug-eyed, like, monster. Now, the thing's like, probably like, Grant, why are you calling me a monster? Well, first of all, I don't know what you are, thing. Okay, you're some, like, thing. You could be anything. You don't look human, bro. All right, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be kind here, but you really don't look human. Now, I'm going to do it at I'm going to do it at 0.252, just to be gratuitous. The file's going to be really long. But that's okay. It's for America. Alright, now we gotta do the EFT ID. I'm labeling. You can watch it again from the beginning. I'm telling you, this shit's really weird. There's the bug-eyed thing. So if you're just tuning in, I mean, I don't know if it's the aliens, but at this point, like, bro, anything's on the table. So we're thinking it might be the aliens. Like, Nicola had to put some tea on. We all need an adult. Petty LaBelle need an adult. And Petty LaBelle's, like, my adult. So, like, I don't know what you want me to tell you, bro. Like, we're all having a bit, like, crisis of faith here. Like, I'm a very religious man. Jesus didn't prepare me for the aliens. I don't know what to do. If it's aliens, like, I'll roll with it, bro. Like, I've covered, like, you know, covered everything else under the sun in the last week. But, like, I wasn't ready for the aliens. Like, I wasn't ready for it this way. I thought, like, Congress would call me and be like, bro, listen, you know, it's as bad as you thought, and we're going to work on it with hearings, but also aliens. And I would have been like, I'm going to go, like, drink some water, and then I'll go live. Like, I don't think me potentially finding the aliens live was the best idea. You know, like, I guess my peoples need me to deal with this and help them if it's the aliens. But, like, bro, I was not ready for it to be aliens. And I want to remind you, I am a reporter, okay? So when I tell you, I just watched a video of, like, an alien getting, like, flung around in a, like, some kind of machine for stress testing, I'm telling you it's an alien. What an alien means in this context, fuck if I know. What star it's from, whether it lives underwater, I don't know, bro. Like, I'm from fucking Boston. I never met a fucking alien. I don't know what an alien is. I never studied no aliens. I'm sure there's people in Congress who do, you know what I'm saying? But if you expect me, a little towel, to, like, solve the alien problem, like, that's not happening. You know what I'm saying? It's just not happening. So, yeah, we all just have to have a discussion as a peoples. Alright? If it's actually an alien, we must have a discussion as a peoples. Now, my opinion is that in this discussion, like, Nicola should lead the discussion. Okay, we just go to Nicola and we're like, Nicola, what do we do about the aliens? And Nicola and Patty LaBelle, like, put on tea, you know, they put on a little, like, tea kettle. And they're like, Grant, we talked about it extensively, and you are a towel. And I'd be like, I know that. I'm well aware of that, but like, what do you want to do about the problem? And they'd be like, well, Grant, that part we haven't really thought about yet. And I'd be like, well, ladies, that's wonderful that you all sat down for tea, but like, I need a solution. What are we going to do about the aliens? And they're going to be like, well, we didn't really get that far. Okay, we kind of need a solution for the aliens. Now, if Nicola's solution is we give them tea, I mean, bro, that's not like the worst solution I've ever heard of in my entire life. I think they're going to be a little baffled, but they're probably going to like it more than being like fucking flung around in this thing. I think we can have Nicola talk to the aliens. I don't really see the harm in that. She'd be good at it. Nicola is like a very good diplomat. So we just send her with some tea, and we're like, aliens, we're very sorry about the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing. Like, that's not what most of us do, brah. You know what I'm saying? Like, most of us are not into that, like, crazy shit. So we're sorry that they, like, flung you around in a saucer. Will you forgive us? Here's some tea. And, like, we'll just start again. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like Nicola is, like, a very good candidate to do this because she's very disarming. So the aliens will be like, we're a little pissed about the whole thing. And Nicola will be like, yeah, bro, we're pissed about the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing, too. Like, do you understand we don't like these people? And then the aliens will be like, oh, wait a minute. So, like, that wasn't representative of your species? And Nick will be like, no, bro. Jeffrey Epstein was not representative of our species. Like, why do you think that? So, in short, Nicola, you got a little work to do. It involves the aliens. I don't think Nicola really signed up for this, you know what I'm saying? But, like, it's too late now. Sorry. Nicola, you're officially in charge of the aliens. I'm not sure what you're going to do with them. I don't know. Be nice to them. You know, whatever. It's really your business. It's not my business. But I'm just telling you, like, the aliens are probably going to be a little pissed, bruh. Like, I can understand, too. Like, wouldn't you be a little pissed if, like, Jeffrey Epstein, like, put you on, like, a fucking machine and made you do shit? Like, first of all, like, he did a lot of bad shit, but, like, if you were an alien and you're just trying to come to Earth and be a little alien, and then Jeffrey Epstein's just like, here, I'm going to make, like, this like science experiment out of you, bro, you'd be pissed. So Nicola's got to make them some cookies, and we got to like have this talk, and we got to tell the aliens we're sorry. Like, that's step one. We got to make sure the aliens understand we did not mean, unless they're hostile aliens, in which case we'll just tell them to leave, like I did with the devil man. You know, I was like, leave, devil man. But the point is, we have to deal with these aliens. If it really is the aliens. I'm not, but then again, I wasn't really willing to buy into the devil thing, and then a bunch of people online were convinced it was a devil, so, you know. But if it's the aliens, I think we're going to need, like, more than, like, the three of us, you know. I don't know if just, like, throwing Nicola and cookies at the problem is necessarily going to solve this. So, anyway, like, yeah, it is like an episode of The X-Files, but my point is, it seems real, and it looks real. So Nicola says she's willing to do this. She had fair warning from the X-Files. And in turn, Nicola's going to go to the aliens and just apologize for what we did to them. It wasn't me. It was Jeffrey Epstein. But, like, they're going to be pissed. What do you even say to an alien? You know what I'm saying, bro? And how do I report this? Like, do I report this as, like, it's the aliens? Or do I report this as, like, I have concerns that it's the aliens, you know? What do I do? Like, does anyone have a plan? I don't really have a plan for how to report this. Like, I have an ethical obligation to report it, but, like, I don't want to tell people it's the aliens. I don't think that's, like, helpful. What if they all, like, freak out? Like the stuff we've been dealing with now, even though people are mad, they're trying to channel it, like, politically. I don't know what they're going to do about the aliens. Like, even the demon thing I was a little bit worried about, because I was like, are people going to start pilgrimaging? Like, we gotta, like, reform the system. We don't need, like, mass movements right now of anything. But my point is, like, if it's aliens, and I'm not the, like, when I post this, people are going to literally go wild. I don't know what to do about this, okay? Like, I'm going to put Nicola in charge. Nicola, I got your back. I don't think too many people are going to stand up to take on the aliens, all right? I wouldn't say take on, but, like, I don't think anyone even wants to go apologize to the aliens, bro. Like, how are you even going to start that conversation? Like, we're sorry about the Jeffrey Epstein thing? Yeah, and Aaron thinks they're demons. So, Aaron, how do we vanquish them? Are you telling me the man who came to my door the other day was not just a demon, but he was an alien? They're fucking aliens. Are you telling me the aliens are already here? Oh no. I wasn't ready for this. I'm just a towel. Of course, Nicola. Listen, ride or die, you know what I'm saying? We'll take on those damn aliens. Fucking aliens. Alright. Let's prepare this post, bruh. Where's Kyle Sharkey when you need him? Kyle, I have a problem. I think we found the aliens. Alright? Alright. I need to be, like, very responsible with how I report this. No. I have located a video in the Jeffrey Epstein files that appears to indicate a figure with oblong and glowing eyes was subjected to some kind of rapid acceleration in a two-seat pod alongside another figure. The footage is censored, but one face moves below the bar for a few frames. There is a, instead of I have located, I'm going to say there is a video in the Jeffrey Epstein files that seems to show, indicate's not a good word there, seems to show a figure with oblong and glowing eyes was being subjected to some kind of rapid acceleration in a two-seat pod alongside another figure. The footage is censored, but one face moves below the bar for a few frames. And then is it an MP4, bruh? Yeah. The full video file is, how long is it? It's multiple hours, bruh. It's a really fucking long video. It's 2 hours, 44 minutes, and 11 seconds. 2 hours, 44 minutes, and 11 seconds long, but it appears that footage of the experiment is visible for only the first 2 minutes or so of footage. There is also one point where the entity in the right seat, when looking at the footage head on, has appendages that don't appear to be hands. They seem to be closer to claws or something of that nature. I am requesting some help looking at this video footage, and in turn I have upscaled it to 4K and provided it in three speeds below: 1x, 0.5x, and 0.25x. I am almost certain that this is a non-human entity, but as a reporter and an academic, I am not going to make that conclusion without further input from independent, that's how you spell it, independent video analysts, and after proper scientific methods are applied to this footage. Here is the source file link. All right, now I gotta put it in the project too, because the reason we found this is the project. So it's probably the most appendages. How do you spell appendages? Appendices? No, not appendages. Like an appendage, like an arm. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck's the word for an appendage? Appendage, like an arm. No. It's called an appendage. APPENDAGE. Appendages. There you go. Appendages. Video analyst. And after applied to this footage. Alright, so let me get the file that I just did. This is going to be the last thing we do. I'm coming back after 5 p.m. Listen, if this is real, like, we're going to talk about this tonight for a little bit. If, like, the internet determines this is real, we got a lot to talk about. I mean, we have a lot to fucking talk about, like, right now. So, alright, this is it. Alright, so, and you notice, like, the way I did the upload was, I put its fucking eyes as a still. Like, bro, that is not a human. Dude, humans do not fucking have eyes like that. And masks don't function like that, and humans don't have fucking hands that function weird. Alright, so I want you all to go out there and determine if this is aliens. Like, go try to figure this out. Like, speak to Kyle. Be like, Kyle had to go for a little bit, but he thinks he found aliens. Kyle's going to be like, well, actually, at this point, I think Kyle's going to be like, I actually believe that it's aliens. And I'm going to be like, I know, bro. It's clearly fucking aliens, motherfucker. That's not what I wanted to do. Hold on. And he's going to be like, no, it's not aliens. I'm going to be like, yeah, it is, Kyle. Petty says that they will be fine with aliens, my friend, but I'm chain smoking. Yeah, I think we're all chain smoking. I think I'm pretty sure we inadvertently just disclosed that there are aliens through the Epstein's file. I'm sorry I did this to you all. Like, I know for, like, your entire life you were probably going to be like, you were thinking, like, all right, like, when's it going to happen? Where am I going to be when they tell us about the aliens? Well, it turns out you were watching a YouTube stream. You know, like, shit happens. Tell your grandkids. You can call them now and be like, listen, grandkids, your grandma or your grandpa is a very, very, like, informed member of the polity. And I was going about my business as your grandma. And as I was doing that, I inadvertently determined that aliens are real. Now, they're going to be like, Grandma, I'm not ready for this. And you have to be like, I know. And you have to tell them anyway. They're going to be very concerned. You just have to be like, it's a problem. All right, but you have to tell them nicely. Like, I would advise, like, not dropping this on people until we're absolutely 100% sure. But still, I think it's the aliens. All right, you know what I'm saying? But, like, before you go, like, tell your family, we really have to, like, put this on the internet. There are, like, internet people. I don't know how to explain it. They are like internet people and they do internet things, okay? So we're going to let them do that, and you are going to, like, deal with this, okay? Like, you're all going to have a talk for the next hour. I'm going to come back at like 5:30 or 6 with my dinner. If you want to send some donations, that's great. Thank you to Lynn Britton for reminding. # Grant Smith Ellis. Venmo at Grant1. PayPal.me/Grant Ellis. That'd be super helpful, okay? But I'm going to put this file up. Then I'm going to go to the, oh, that's right, I got to put it in the, I know what I got to do. I got to go over here. I got to grab this thing, all right, you know what I'm saying? And then I got to take this thing, the one up in the corner. Oh, I'm sorry you can't actually see the typing I was doing. Let me show you the post I was working on. You all were just looking at the corner of a screen. I was actually typing up a whole post for the American polity. It's actually the world polity, but I'm a tan. You know what I'm saying? I'm American tan. So anyway, I was working on this post, being a little tan. You can see it there. And I have it all ready. It's all written up. But before we can move on, like, see the whole post I wrote up? So you're going to go to Twitter, and you're going to read about all this. But before we can write it up, I got to go over to my other document here. And I got to go to this file, and then I got to, at the very top, no, at the PayPal link, I got to do this. Here, find the, hold on. Let's see. Epstein prison logs. File of 2-hour video that includes an entity subject to testing with oblong eyes and oblong glowing eyes. I mean, literally, that's probably one of the most important things that we found. It's horrifying, but it's the most important. Alright, so that's there. You can find it in this file. I'm going to go here. Alright. I located this file while compiling a list, an indexed, open source, crowd funded crowdfunded list of videos in the DOJ Epstein files that are hiding on the servers with incorrect in file names, file types. Find that work in progress and how to and find information on how to support my ongoing independent reporting here. Okay? All right, everybody. I want you to go out there. I want you to be good little towels, okay? And then I want you to, spread the word. Actually, I think I should do an intro like a traditional journalist. So watch this. Watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you the magic, all right? I'm going to show you how the sausage is made. Okay. We're going to use this footage. We're going to use that. Okay. We're going to do this. Hold on one second. We're going to do this. Okay. All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Grant Smith Ellis. I'm an independent reporter covering the Epstein files. Over the past week, I have broken 4 separate and distinct stories. On February 5th, I broke the story about former President Obama, White House counsel to President Obama, Kathy Ruemmler, being a member of the CIA, winning the CIA's agency award on January 8, 2025, and then telling registered sex offender Jeffrey Epstein about it. I broke a story about Robert Devine and a network of police officers in Massachusetts, specifically around Stoughton, being connected to Epstein through a charity called the Learning for Life Initiative, which contracted with the Police Explorers Program in Stoughton and other areas in Massachusetts, including with the Norfolk DA Michael Morrissey. I covered a story in Connecticut from the Epstein files involving the Rumsey Hall School that has created a substantial amount of discourse related to ongoing allegations of SA against children in that area of the country. I then found $30 million in unaccounted for stock transactions through a shell nonprofit called Gratitude America that Epstein ran, including $3.5 million of stock transactions between July 10th and July 22nd, 2019, when Epstein was in prison on federal charges, and just weeks before ostensibly he died on either August 9th or 10th of 2019. I am now compiling a project. You can see it in the top right there of your screen, of every video file on the DOJ website that is indexed under the false and under wrong file types. While going through those files today, as mentioned, it is Friday, February blank 2026. While going through those files today, I located what can only be described as a horrifying 2-hour clip that only contains 2 minutes of footage. It is reference ID EFTA 1683320.mp4. When you open this file, it's 2 hours and something minutes. There's only footage for the first few minutes, okay, for the first 2 minutes. In that footage, you're going to see what appears to be a science experiment with 2 entities in a pod. The entity on the right is what you're looking at on your screen. It's probably what you've been waiting for me to explain. I wanted to lay the foundation for the context of my Epstein research and within these files so you'd understand that when I say the sentence I'm about to say, it is not being said lightly. It is being said with a substantial amount of journalistic research and background. I'm an academic with advanced degrees in political philosophy, and I also went to law school, although I'm not a lawyer. That figure, that you see in that file ID and what you're about to watch in this footage that you're going to see in 4K upscaled. You're going to see it at 1x speed, you're going to see it at 0.5 speed, and you're going to see it at 0.25 speed. That figure, ladies and gentlemen, has eyes that are oblong and glowing. When you watch the figure's sort of appendages that are right now gripping straps as it's being spun around in a cyclical centrifuge of sorts, you are going to find out that those hands don't really look like hands when they get moved down. They end up looking almost like claws. What this is, why it's there, why both of those figures, if you just want to get some sense of what is in this footage, I'll let it play a little bit. There are two figures, ladies and gentlemen, strapped in. And you're going to see the whole footage play next in its raw format. This is just the intro. You are going to see two figures strapped in to what appears to be a pod of some kind. It is unclear why they are strapped into that pod. It is unclear. Their faces, quote unquote, if you can call them that, are covered. Okay, but there are two entities in that pod. And you're going to see it at 1x speed. Again, you're going to see this whole thing. It's going to play after I stop talking. And you are going to find there is something incredibly odd about this. So, my name's Grant Smith Ellis. You can support my work. I'm doing an extensive amount of research on the Epstein files. You can support it. YouTube.com/@GrantSmithEllis, X.com/GrantSmithEllis. There's a Cash App. There's no one behind this. I'm a trained independent journalist. I used to work at Jurist and other big publications. I'm now doing this independent. There's no editor to tell me to stop. Someone invaded my home Monday night as I was working on some of these stories. I'm an independent reporter who runs a public information service basically supported by you. So I hope you will consider donation, money sign Grant Smith Ellis on Cash App. You can scan the little QR code. The Venmo is at Grant-E1. You'll know it's me because you'll see the little Elmo statue. God bless my friend Elmo who passed away. He was a veteran of this wonderful country. I love the United States of America, by the way. I hate the commies. And also there's a PayPal for those of you who are international. PayPal.me/Grant Ellis. Thank you for supporting this work. Take a look at this video. You're about to see it right now. All right, towel friends. So that was good. Let us thank you so much, Lynn Britton, for sharing those links. We're going to reconvene. Okay, we're not done for the day, so I'm not saying my goodbyes. Come back and see me after 5 p.m. Eastern. Get your dinner, get your snacks. We're going to have a lot to talk about. If this is as real as I think it is, which I truly believe it is, this is going to set the world aflame. God bless the United States of America. May God protect us. Keep your faith in Jesus. I believe in Jesus. I'm not going to say you don't have to. Whatever you believe in, keep that faith right now, unless you believe in demons, in which case, screw you. Hold the line. There is a lot happening. There is a lot going on. It is okay to feel overwhelmed, but if this plays out the way I think it's going to, we're going to have a lot to talk about tonight. We'll continue our research. My name is Grant Smith Ellis. Be well, towel friends, for the next hour and a half. Behave. Nicola's going to make some tea for the aliens. Patty LaBelle's a super towel. Lynn Britton's amazing. God bless all of you. See you soon, Aaron Lemon, and see you soon, Standing Stones. We'll see you again after 5 p.m. Eastern, maybe the 6. I want to get some snacks. Everyone relax, take a deep breath, and center your Zen. Try to love each other. Do good out there. Do a small act of service, if you can, until we see each other in the next few hours. I got to go. I got things to do. I was not expecting the damn aliens. All right, talk soon.